Hi there, you're watching Talk of the Town, and we're here in the studio, and we're going to make something fun, and we have Karen Morley. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you.
Well, you're a great volunteer here, and most people would never see you because you're behind the cameras doing some floor directing, aren't you?
That's right.
And now, she's going to be gullible, folks, and show us, not even gullible, she is a great cook, and she's going to show us how to make turtles, and they look fabulous. I don't know if they'll be able to zoom in and see these turtles on this plate. They just look amazing, and so there they go. I don't want to slide them off the plate too much, but you're going to show us, and let's start and talk about the different ingredients, and I know you started before the show, you talked about 2 different kinds of chocolate. Let's start there.
I did. Okay, so basically chocolate turtles are nothing more than pecans, caramel, and chocolate.
Okay.
So the caramel, I want to start there. You can use, if you want to make it easy, you can use just store-bought caramels. And this is great if you get the kids involved because they can unwrap each of the ones and you just stick it in a bowl and microwave it.
Or anybody annoying you anytime. You can say, here, go unwrap the caramels.
Exactly. Perfect. I actually chose to make my own caramel. Because I like to add different flavorings. This one actually has a little bit of rum in it because rum, and it also has, instead of corn syrup, it has golden syrup, so it has a honey flavor.
Okay.
But I wouldn't recommend doing it around kids because hot caramel at 242 degrees is probably the most dangerous thing in the kitchen.
That just proves how much of a chef you are when you know the exact 242 degrees. I'd say heat it up till it melts.
Right, well that's all you have to do.
Okay.
Heat it up till it melts.
Okay.
And then you've got your pecans. These are from Georgia. The last time I was there, I brought some with me. So these are Georgia pecans.
Imported. Now, let's just quickly on the caramel, so that once it melted, you just got it about how thick?
I poured it into a baking sheet, an 8x8 pan, and it's probably about 1/4 inch thick.
Okay, great.
And what you can do is if you want to melt it right out of here, you can take it right out of the bowl and just glob it on.
Oh, okay.
But then you've got to wait for it to set. So I wanted us to be able to do everything. So I made the caramel.
Okay.
And we'll cut these out.
Alrighty.
We have the pecans, and then we talked about the chocolate. There's 2 different ways you can do chocolate. One, if you want to do fast and easy, chocolate chips. Just take a bag of chocolate chips, melt them in the microwave.
Okay.
The thing about the chocolate chips is they won't sit as long because chocolate chips are not tempered.
Okay.
Chocolate, so they won't get hard on the top and stay as long. So if you've got kids around and they're going to eat it in 10 seconds flat, go with the chocolate chips. It's easy and it's fast.
All right.
What I've done is gotten some, I like dark chocolate. You can use milk chocolate, but I like dark chocolate because I think it goes well with the caramel.
Okay.
So what I've done is chopped some dark chocolate and stuck it in a bowl. And you see I reserved a little bit because we are going to do a quick temper. Now, do you know what tempering is for?
No, you're going to explain this. I told you I'm going to learn lots of good things from you today.
We're going to stick this in the microwave.
Okay. Let's
at half power.
Okay, so usually it's a number 5 on most microwaves.
That's right.
Okay, and how long are you starting it for?
And I'm going to start it with 1 minute.
Okay.
Although that one says 16 seconds.
Oh, there you go. Good thing it's adjustable.
Right.
Okay, so, and then this is going to, you said, temper the chocolate.
So, no, what we're going to do is we're going to melt it first.
Okay.
We're going to start melting it. And what tempering does is when you melt chocolate, all the chocolate you buy is already tempered, which means it's nice and hard and shiny.
Okay.
But when you melt it, what happens is it comes out of temper.
Okay.
So what we want to do is these big crystals form, and they kind of don't have that texture that you want. So by stirring, keep stirring, stirring, stirring as you heat, what it does is it keeps those crystals from forming big things. So keep stirring, and then we save a little bit aside.
Okay. A little bit that's not melted, cut in the
small. That's not melted,
case,
and that will cool it down and keep the crystals from forming. So we'll get a nice tempered chocolate. It makes a nice snappy crust. And then the other thing,
we'll just get this thing going again so it can be going while we're learning something else.
The other thing about tempering the chocolate is that it melts at 2 degrees less than your body temperature. So it stays solid, but when you put it in your mouth, it just melts away.
Oh, there you go. All right.
So the way we're going to start here while the chocolate's going is we're going to lay out pecans.
Okay. Now you have to tell me, there's something in the bottom of your cookie sheet that I'm not familiar with.
This is a silicone mat. It's called Silpat, and I use it for all my baking. You don't have to grease anything, nothing sticks to it. So even cookies that typically stick, like coconut macaroons, they don't stick to this. And so you can pour caramel on it, and the caramel will peel right up.
It peels right up. Excellent. So now you're making this in a nice little shape in the four corners, north, south, east, west.
That's right.
Sort of like a little compass.
Yeah, it's just
Very
making
good.
turtle legs, right?
Okay,
That's
like-
why they're called turtles, because they kind of look like turtle legs.
And like
yeah,
I said,
you could give
have
that a stir.
I could do that, and you could get other people to help you, get involved. Everybody feels like they have part of the
Yeah,
a hand in making these. And what a nice treat, I guess. Yes, it's holiday time now, but any time of the year, you could take a afternoon or an evening and say, gee, let's do some fun stuff. And
half power again.
The so power. Oh,
for about
okay.
40
Can she
seconds.
Do this? And we're gonna do time.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
I have 9 nieces and nephews, and they just have a great time making these with me.
Okay.
And they feel like, look what I've done. Most of it goes in their mouth, of course.
Well, but you've got to start somewhere. I mean, you've got to always make sure that things are. Wait, I know what I'm doing. Hang on. You've got to. No, I want to do
So
my
half
power level.
power. So just hit cancel.
You know, it's like rental unit. There we go.
Exactly.
There and timer we want.
So while
40
you're
seconds.
doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out the caramel. And what I did was just brought a little cookie cutter mold.
Oh, look at that.
And so
nice
little
round.
shape.
Okay.
And then you just set it right on top of there and press it down. You don't want to press it down too hard because you don't want to break the nuts.
Okay.
But you want it to hold the nuts in place. See?
Oh, so again, anybody can work on this. And so,
the kids love this part too. Oh my gosh, are you
Totally.
kidding?
Totally. Well, and with making your own caramel, you can add different flavors, which makes it even more unique, which
Yeah.
is another nice little personalized treat, isn't
Exactly. And for the grown-up, this is the grown-up version. This has rum in it. But
Right.
I have also found that amaretto and Grand Marnier also work really well.
it? Oh, okay.
Anything that contrasts well with a nice chocolate. And so this is all you do is just pop these on
I'm
here.
going to check these to make sure I didn't overset this, or I'll be ruining
Yeah,
your
let's
chocolate. And
stir it
you'll be
really,
saying,
really well.
Rachel, she's the helper that failed, and that wouldn't be a very good
Okay, I
thing.
think it's plenty well
Is this
melted.
good?
So
Good. I
just
was gonna
keep
say,
stirring.
you know what
Keep
you-
stirring.
Okay, let me close this door out of the way. Anyway, so you're right. So now you can make different flavors. Now, even with the store-bought caramel, could you add flavors to that stuff?
You
as well?
could, and when you melt this, you typically want to add about a tablespoon or 2 of water. So in place of water, you could add a flavoring like a rum
Okay.
extract or even extra vanilla extract. Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, so it's all nice
So
and melted.
now what we're going to do
Yes.
is the important tempering part. We're going to add the cold chocolate in there
Okay.
and stir that and just keep stirring. What that does is it brings the temperature way down. And then you get a nice shiny chocolate. See how shiny that is?
Totally. And so instead of waiting for it to cool on its own, you're forcing it to cool much
You're
quicker.
forcing it to cool, exactly.
Okay, and then it creates a thing. And now you get all the little turtles. They're lined up waiting for a coating.
And that's all you do then. You just take the spoon once we get this a little more melted. And
Now-
what you can do
Okay.
at this point is pull out the chunks that are left in there because they
Okay.
don't necessarily all melt.
Okay.
I use this for covering my truffles and other candies. So if you have leftover, it's easily reheated.
And use it.
And you go through the same process again and it works.
Okay, just melt it on down and temper it again and make it work. That's awesome.
So all we're going to do now is just
Well, this is just excellent. So just pour it over, and because you've got that silicone mat there, it's perfect.
And even though it
Oh, they look
runs
excellent.
around the edge, what happens is when we pull it off the mat, those will snap right off.
Oh, perfect.
You can put it on a wire rack if you like,
Okay. This be easier
and then
to-
it'll just spill through.
And roughly how long do these take to set up till they're with this type of chocolate?
With the tempered chocolate, they're a lot faster.
Okay.
With the chocolate chips, you put it in the fridge for about a half an hour.
Okay.
With this, we'll be eating these in about 10 or 15. By the time your next guest is done, we'll be eating these babies.
Well, I hate to tell our audience, you're not going to get to see them, but I'm going to pick one up just to show you again how lovely these turn out. A cute little turtle. He's just made there lovely. And again, make them any time of the year. You could just enjoy them, and we're going to enjoy them off camera. But thank you so much, Karen. You are
Sure.
amazing.
It was fun.
I learned lots of good things today. Thanks so much. Stay tuned, and we'll have more guests coming up on Talk of the Town. Excellent. Now that's